There's three dark truths. There's three dark truths that you need to know, and your children need to know these dark truths before they turn age 30. It is the difference between living life on hard mode or living life on easy mode. I wish I knew these three dark truths before I was age 25, age 30. I know them now. I'm sharing them with you and your children today. They are not popular. They are not welcome. They are not well received with the 99% victims and cupcake normies. But you as a top 1%er have got to make sure that you're living these three dark truths in your life every day. And just as important, that your teenagers, your adult children know these three dark truths and that they're applying them in their life so that they can live a top 1% badass lifestyle where they can finally live life and do business on their own terms, and where our future generations can build lives, top 1% worlds that they never ever need to escape from. Michael McLean, brassballsvideos.com. I am an ex-professional hockey coach, ex-amateur championship hockey coach, turned 8-figure entrepreneur. I'm a husband and father, and you can download a free copy of my brand new book below at the link below, brassballsvideos.com. 5 ways to unfuck your life in the next 30 days. It's a simple, no fluff, no filler, no BS book, 22 pages. You put in your email. I'll email the book to you within 5 minutes. No cost to you, nothing else to buy. My book to you. 5 ways to unfuck your life in the next 30 days. If you're like me, and from time to time, you have to get your shit together like we all do, this is the book that'll help you do that. The link is below in the comments. So, these are what I call the 3 dark truths. They're never talked about in school. They're never talked about in sports. They're never talked about in church. They're never talked about in polite society. And it exposes our children, our teenagers, our adult children to a life of difficulty. And if you know these 3 dark truths, by the time you're in your 20s and you're 25 and you're 30 going through your learning years, 20 to 30, that's your learning years, not your earning years. If you make money, that's gravy. 20 to 30 are your earning years, your apprentice years, where what's most important is gaining specialized knowledge. So during those learning years of 20 to 30, if you can learn and implement these 3 dark truths, you will be ahead, and your children will be ahead of 99% of the quiet desperation normies. People that are average, ordinary, and mediocre, and literally walking amongst us living a life of quiet desperation. Is that what you want for your adult children? A life where they have to medicate, they have to sedate, they have to escape like the 99%? Or do you want to help your children build a life they never need to escape from? A life where they live life and do business on their own terms. That's the goal for me as a husband and as a father. To create and build my family so that my daughter has choices. She has choices because of self-reliance and self-responsibility. These are the three dark truths that literally would turn the stomach of 99% of the cupcakes around us, but they're the three ways to win in life. And they're not popular, and they're not welcome in 2024. And that's the point. That's why they're so important for you, for your queen, for your children, for your teenagers, and for your adult children. These are the three dark truths that separate winners from losers over the long haul. Over the long haul. The first truth, the first dark truth that would turn the stomach of most normies, low IQ tomato cans is this. It's not just how hard you work. I'm the most pro hard work guy that you could ever encounter. I don't believe in hard work. I believe, through my sports background, my entrepreneurship, I grew up, the first 5 years of my life, I grew up in the back of a general store. My dad working 14 hours a day every day but Christmas. My mom raising 2 children in the back of the store. My grandfather did the same thing, but he raised 3 daughters in a general store. That's as blue collar and as middle class as it can be. That's entrepreneurship at brass tacks. So I believe and I know the virtues of hard work. And I've watched my dad and I've watched my mom and I've watched my grandfather. I know what hard work looks like. I've been around Hall of Fame hockey players, Hall of Fame football players. I know what hard work looks like. I have a term for it. I call it extreme hard work. Hard work isn't good enough. We need extreme hard work. And my hockey players, I have a saying in our hockey program, championship effort. Effort is not good enough. Championship effort. Championship work ethic. There's work ethic for the 99%, and then there's championship work ethic. Then there's championship effort. That's what we're looking for. But here's the thing. Just as important as championship work ethic and how hard we work is this choice, number one. What our kids eventually decide to work on. That's the biggie. It's not just how hard you work. What do they choose to work on is just as important. If you're my dad was running at the general store for 5 years, the first 5 years of my life. And as hard as he worked, 14 hours a day, 7 a.m. till 9 p.m., every day but Christmas, he was in the general store business where the margins are 1%, 2%. So no matter how hard he worked, it was impossible to get ahead because of what he was working on. He was working in a small margin business where there was no opportunity. He simply ran out of time, ran out of hours in the day, ran out of hours in the week. He was majoring, as Jim Rome would say, majoring in minor things. After 5 years of working like a mule, 7 days a week, 364 days a year, my dad got an opportunity to move to the insurance business. One of the most lucrative businesses on planet Earth. He worked less hours, 10 hours a day, 5 hours a week, or 5 days a week, 50 hours instead of 100, and he 10x'd his income eventually. He wasn't working any harder, he was working actually less, making more money, having more of a life because of what he chose as his mission. Insurance became his professional mission, and he did it for 46 years. My dad's professional mission was the insurance business, to be the best insurance agency owner on planet Earth. He had a mission as a husband, as a father, as a community leader, but that was his career mission. and he went all in all the way. What he chose to work on was just as important as how hard he worked. You can push boulders up a hill all you want. What's most important is the combination of the two things. That you work your ass off, your kids work their ass off, but they work on the right things. That they major in major things. They major in major things. So that's number one thing that your children need to learn, your teenagers learn, your adult children. It needs to be emphasized. Hard work is non-negotiable, but what you choose as your mission, as your life mission professionally, the choice you make, whether to major in minor things or major in major things, will lead to all of the financial gain or no gain at all. Kids, our children need to know what industry they're getting into. What's the future? How much can they make? How much can they provide for their family? Is it their obsession? Is it their passion? But they've got to make the decision to work on the right thing. Number two, they must decide. Number one thing for peace of mind and happiness is what you choose to work on, your life's mission. Number two is where you choose to live. Dan Kennedy says this best: we're not a rooted tree. We can move. If you're not happy in your town, your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country, your community, move. Just because you grew up somewhere, or just because your brother or sister lived there, or your parents still live there, if you're unhappy where you are, or there's a lack of opportunity, or it's not a place you want to raise a family, or it's not a place you're going to meet your significant other, or it's not a place where you can make a lot of money, or it's not a place that's healthy for you, you're not a tree, move. This is literally the advice that Dan Kennedy, my mentor, gave me 3 years ago, when one day I was whining, complaining, making excuses about all the nonsense going on in Canada with the virus, with the lockdowns, with the pandemic. And, the businesses are closed, the schools are closed, the rinks are closed. What am I going to do? And Kennedy just said simply, he goes, Michael, you're not a fucking tree. You can move. Where's the one place you would go if you could? And you can. I said, well, we would look at Florida. Well, you're not a tree. You know those big green signs out on the freeway? Those big green signs out on the highway at the edge of town? He said, those are directions to someplace else. He didn't have to tell me twice. We were gone within 5 days to a new country, a new school, a new house, a new community, a new way of life. Where you and your queen and your children, when they become adults, decide to live is a massive factor in overall peace of mind and happiness. If you're not living in an environment that encourages what you want to accomplish, you are fighting a fight that you will lose. There is nothing more powerful than environment. And part of environment is association. The people that you're around. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Same thing for all your environment. The people that you talk to every day, the people at the coffee shop, your 5 friends, where the community you live in, the town, the city, the house, all of it matters. And it either pulls you towards your goal magnetically, helps you build your empire, your badass world, or it's a crab in the bucket and it pulls you back down. If your kids are living in a community or an environment or a town or a city where it's crabs in the bucket, everybody pulls everybody else down, it's a toxic swamp, then they have no chance to win. They're going to be living life on hard. They're going to be trying to do business on hard. They're going to be trying to chase their dreams as eagles living amongst a bunch of turkeys. It ain't going to work. Nothing is more powerful than association and the people we decide to spend time with. Keep telling your children, as difficult as it is, even for yourself, we're not a tree. We're not a rooted tree. We can move. If where we are living is not congruent with our dreams, with our mission, with our vision for the world we want to build, for the people that matter most to us, move. You're not a tree. The third factor in overall happiness, success, peace of mind, and I've touched on this one other time, is who you decide to marry. So for our adult children and our teenagers, this is a discussion that needs to happen all the time. You need to constantly plant this seed through their dating years, their teenage years, their young adult years, and it'll look like they don't listen, they're not listening, they don't give a shit what you say, they're blocking you out. You still gotta talk about this. That the single most important decision to overall happiness and peace of mind will be who they choose to marry, who they choose to invest their life with. And if you get this decision wrong, if you marry the wrong person or you choose to spend your life with the wrong person, they will live life on hard mode. It will be a fucking grind. It will be a grind. It will take all their energy, their mental health. It'll take all their time, as opposed to getting this decision right. Somebody that you share the same work ethic, the same goals, the same values, the same principles, the same mission, the same values about family, about children, about this country. You get that right with the right person, and now they're living on easy mode. Now you're a team. Now they're married to their best friend. Like my dad said when I was getting married, I mentioned that I had a couple of my best friends there. He said, "Are you fucking kidding me? You have one best friend now, and she's right over there. That's your best friend's secret weapon wife. That's your BFF. These other guys, they're gone. High school chums, college drinking buddies, hockey guys, those are associates and allies. But your best friend forever now lives with you. That's marriage. That's your best friend. That's your secret weapon. That's your ride or die partner. These other people are just people." I never forgot that. And I got the decision right. We share the same values, the same principles, the same goals, the same attitude, the same ideas about family and raising children, the same thing about entrepreneurship. So for the most part, although marriage is always hard and difficult, I'm living life on easy mode because I've got my best friend teammate with me. Somebody who wants me to win, who wants me to succeed, who wants me to win and win. That's so critical to happiness and peace of mind and success. So those are the three things. You as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a grandfather, as an entrepreneur, those are the three key things, the hard truths that you need to be talking to your children, your teenagers, your adult children about consistently through the years. What they're going to choose to do with their life. What's the mission? What is the career? Is it something that lights them up? Is it something that's a passion, an obsession, that they can't wait to do it? or is it something that's going to make them old? What they choose to work on is just as important as how hard they work. Secondly, they're not a tree. They can move. They need to be in the most advantageous environment, around the most advantageous people. Great environment, great life. And thirdly, they got to get this decision right, or it's better to make no decision. They've got to marry the right person. Their true ride or die secret weapon best friend. They get this decision right, and they literally have a secret weapon, a loaded deck. You get these three things right, and your children, even yourself, you're literally playing life with an extra player on the field. You know what that's like? It's like you have an extra player on the football field, or you have an extra player on the diamond, or you have an extra player on the ice, or you have an extra player on the court. That's what life is like when you get these three things right. A stacked deck, a loaded gun, and it's like playing with an extra player on the field. That's how you play and how you build a top 1% badass millionaire world. You can download a copy of my book at the link below in the comments, brassballsvideos.com. 5 ways to unfuck your life in the next 30 days. It's my free gift to you. It's printed off. It's only 22 pages. You can read it in one sitting. No fluff, no filler, no BS. It's 5 ways I've used to get my shit together from time to time in my life. And there's no shame in being down. There's only shame as a man in staying down. We're living in the greatest time in history to be alive. You and I are awash in wealth, abundance, and opportunity. So now is the time to scale it up, to take it up, to wise up, to man up, and to take your life to an all new level. Start showing up on an all new level. And this is the book to help you do it. You need some help getting your shit together. The book below is my free gift to help you do that. So, two words that have changed my life, 2 words that can change yours. Be relentless.